Welcome everyone to AIA Brooklyn's lunchtime webinar on the menu webinar. Today is September 25th or 26th? 25th, September 25th. Okay. It's just after noon here on the East Coast. We are joined today by the team from D.TO. They have developed a remarkable software that will facilitate the execution of your next design, development, and construction document set, and also to help it be more environmentally sustainable, more energy smart, as a part of the artificial intelligence that's stitched into their application. We're joined today by Taylor Logan, by Youngjin Lee, and Joo-hyun. Have we met Joo-hyun? I don't know if we have.
We have at AIA.
Okay.
Boston, yep.
Sorry. So we're joined by these three guys from D.TO, and they're going to present what their software can do for all of us. With that, I'll say take it away.
Yeah, thank you for that, James, and thank you for having us, and thank you for everyone who joined in here on what otherwise would have been hopefully a large feast. Hopefully off camera you're still getting to enjoy something tasty, or if like me you do intermittent fasting, this is the time where you push through and you get that second win for the day. But yeah, thank you for the attendance. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we jump in. Feel free, any questions throughout, to post in the chat. We will have a dedicated 10 to possibly up to 15 minutes at the end, where I'll go back through and kind of act as the moderator to either answer some of the questions myself or to pass them along to Youngjin or Juhan, as well as this QR code that's up now will also be up at the end for any questions that we don't get the time to answer to today. That links directly to our team. So we'd love to continue the conversation directly related to us at D.TO Design Together, AI in the industry as a whole, or if you just, you're having a rough day and you just need to talk about the weather. I like to think we're all pretty laid back and kind of fun people, and that's ultimately what brought us here today with James. So thank you for the time. Our agenda for today, we're going to actually start with kind of an overview of AI, and then we'll kind of telescope down into the applicable parts to your practices and bridging the knowledge gap and how all these things come together. My background, Taylor Logan, I'm our business development manager at D.TO. My job is, I have a background in SaaS implementation at some of the largest companies in the world. So my big, I guess, day-to-day chore, or really honestly pleasure, is to work with our customers to actually implement our technology across their firms, help everyone to understand how to use it, from the junior designer who's passionate about technology to the senior architect who maybe is a bit reticent to adopt new things, to help kind of get everyone on board, feel like they're heard, and feel like they have a place in maintaining their current workflow and just trying to do things a little bit differently and hopefully better. On the call with me today, I have our co-founders. So first, Youngjin Lee. He is a practicing architect for like 25 plus years. He usually doesn't like me saying the years because he tries to pretend that he's still in his 20s. And thankfully for him, he can almost pull it off, at least maybe early 30s, as well as a background in being a professor at the Boston Architectural College. And so those two things align to really create two of the core tenets of the D.TO company. One, from that professor background, the passion for really educating the next generation of architects and a real empathy for understanding how much technical knowledge and expertise is relevant to making sure that we are improving as an industry. And it's kind of where the name came from, how we need to design together. And he just saw a real big gap and kind of a limitation in the schooling system and a lot of the technologies, and passing along all that hard-earned knowledge and wisdom to that next generation, as well as practicing in the field for so many years. Also noticed that we kind of made that dinosaur joke earlier for those that hadn't joined yet, that DD and CD still seems to be done for the most part like back in the 80s. So the Stone Age when it comes to technology and the internet and all these tools out there. So he ultimately ended up meeting Juhan, our other founder, who also was a practicing architect for Nope, you mind me? There we go. Joan, also a co-founder, also was a practicing architect for several years, who actually also then ended up finding a passion for the technology side of practice, and so dove headfirst onto some projects as a practicing architect, and then developed his software engineering skills. So very interesting, take kind of that architectural brain and figuring out how to design and build out technology. And his passion that was kind of separate from D.TO, but then ultimately infused and got him right along with Young Jin, was just the desire to design better, from the actual technology that supports us to ultimately our end customers in the practice. And so the two of them kind of together, I think, are a powerhouse. That's why I joined the team. It was all based on what their vision was. And so for today, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Young Jin, and he'll get us started. And then, like I said, post any questions throughout in the chat, and we'll have some dedicated time at the end. But thank you all again for your time. Young Jin.
Thank you, Taylor. So welcome everyone to the On the Menu. Now, I know, as Taylor said, it is a lunch time, but unfortunately, we are not serving the sandwich today. And what is on the menu, though, is something even better. CE credits and the fresh insight you can take back to your project. So while your stomach might be thinking of the sandwich, we are here to feed your professional growth. So, yep, just quick housekeeping. In this session, you will see how architect can directly influence the both operational and embodied carbon, and why that matters for the global carbon emissions. And then we will explore and how AI-powered detailed management not only speeds up the design and the documentation, but also serve as the teaching tool for the junior staff. And then you will learn how this workflow can guide smarter material choices and reduce the embodied carbon, and ultimately lead to the tighter and more energy efficient buildings with lower operational emissions. Okay, ready? So as you know, the built environment is responsible for almost 42% of the global carbon emission. What is less known here is that only 1/3 comes from the embodied carbon, the emissions tied to the product life cycle, right? And then, but the other 2/3, nearly 10 gigatons, come from the building operations, like the heating and then the cooling. That is why minimizing the operational carbon is the single most powerful strategy for cutting the emission in our AC industry. So some research shows that nearly 80% of the heat loss happens through the building envelope. And by improving the building envelope design, we can actually cut energy use by more than 40% and significantly reduce the operational carbon. This is why we believe the most effective path starts with the high-performance building envelope. So let me actually ask these questions. In which design phase are building envelope resolved and documented in your design phase? Yes, you are correct. It is a design development and construction documentation phase. So that is why we, D.TO, focus on DD and CD, where the complex building designs are resolved and documented, and all building materials are specified, but unfortunately, currently unsupported at all. So even though they are the critical part of the climate resilient building design, that is actually taking up more than 70% of the project budget and in the schedule. So without the right tool, we lose these countless hours digging up the design references and chasing down the product data and translate it in the BIM format, and trying to the pieces all together in the documentation in the end. On top of that, an architect don't have the easy access to the specialized knowledge needed to resolve the building, the construction, the detail. And that gap isn't just the frustrating, it is actually the shaping up to be one of the biggest workforce challenges in our industry. That is, as you know, is a knowledge gap. So we are transforming one of the AEC industry's most fragmented workflow, detailing, documentation, and product coordination. With AI-driven design solution, real-time guidance, and a seamless product integration, we want to help the architect work smarter. And by making it sustainable detailing, practical and accessible, we want to enable high-performance building that cut the carbon and meet today's climate responsibility. So here, let me give you a quick high-level overview, explaining how it works. Firstly, D.TO platform seamlessly integrate with the architect's existing daily design platform, mostly in Revit here, and then automatically identify design challenges. And it offers the best standard solution for the construction detail to meet high-performance buildings. Excuse me. Along with the key design guidance throughout the patent interactive diagram, as you see on your right side in this slide. And then user can directly download it to our solution into your daily design platform and can modify per design requirement by integrating the 2D components provided intuitively by D.TO. And this interactive diagram is not only provide a solution, but also a portal for the product navigation. So each clickable component in this diagram lists all the relevant building product with detailed information. So these supports connect product manufacturers with the architect at the right time and in the right place and in the right format here. So let me actually switch my screen here for the quick demo. Okay. Do you see my screen here?
Yep.
No?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So left side is this is Revit, the design platform. You actually seeing more than 8 hours a day, right? And then the right side is our D.TO platform. And in the D.TO platform is available. There are two versions. One is the web version that doesn't require Revit or the AutoCAD. What you need is just internet and then a web browser. And so that is our main platform. But yeah, the second platform but ironically speaking, is the second version is more powerful. That is integrated with the Revit, and then it actually read and process the Revit design parameter. So that is why it actually a little bit more stronger. And then you can actually download the Revit add-in through the Autodesk App Store or directly from our website. And then our Revit add-in can support from 23 to 26. Is it right, Johan?
Yep.
Okay, great. So once you install here, you can see the D.TO, and then left side is the D.TO platform. And then it will actually show tutorial video link and a user manual too. And then here, this is when you actually going through the ideation, you actually building the form and then apply the material, something like that. That is almost like end of the SD and then pretty much all the DD, right? At that moment, this is the typical level of the 3D model. It looks from far, it looks kind of the complete, right? But if you go to the building section, it is actually, let me actually delete, select all instance. This is the building sections. You actually move from there to the DD and then the CD, and by creating the building sections and then the building plan, right? And then after that, you actually create pull out the wall section and then go to the call-out view to look into the more detailed view, right? So that is the good starting point here. And then this is the moment where all the D.TO platform actually come in and play. So let's see. So, first thing is here, it's a team. So when you actually create the team, under the team, you can actually manage all the license here, and that is completely similar to the ACC. So you can actually assign the license to, and then here, okay. Let me actually go to the project property here. So Rabbit project and then the D.TO project is actually talking to each other. So once you actually link the Rabbit project here, and then it will actually read all the critical global parameter. So two things is actually is critical here. So one is this climate zone, and the other one is this construction type. Construction type, you can actually manually input. The climate zone is the reason why the climate zone is important is based on the climate zone, we actually offer different solution in terms of the thermal insulation. Does it make sense to you, right? And then after you set this up, let's go to the design session. And then, so let me introduce our first layer of the AI. It is called the smart callout. So when you actually pull out the building section, it will, if you click the smart callout, it will actually read your building section and then the building plan, and then place the callout that require more attention from you. So it actually detect most the risk, the building condition. So let me actually create a smart callout here. If you click here, generate, yeah, right. You see that? Yep. And then this is the building corner. You actually want to pay more attention to. So that is our first layer. And then the second layer, actually, let's go to switch to this view. The next step is you create your call out, right? And then if you go to the call out, this is the pretty much is the level of the detail of your model. This is pretty loose. This is a coarse, right? And then it doesn't have. Sometimes it is actually the overlap, or sometimes it actually to show the big gap there. And then let's create the design sessions here. I actually create the already populated some design sessions here for the demo purpose. So, but let me create here one design session from the scratch. So create a design session here, and then I will link this callout view here. And then design session is actually communicating the your callout. Okay, and then it will, as you see here, it will actually read the callout view name automatically. So it's confirmed. And then go to the next step. And then here, I will introduce our second layer of the AI. It is called the smart classification. And then what the smart classification does is it actually read the building condition. This is actually building the geometrical relationship of the two different building assembly. So for instance, here, okay, this is a cotton wall and this is a flat roof. How do they actually meet? It's a kind of parapet condition, or like this, or like this, maybe the overhang condition. It actually reads the geometrical relationship. And on top of that, it also analyzes the system family. Okay, this is cotton wall, or this is a window wall, storefront. This is the membrane flat roof on top of the concrete metal deck, or just the metal deck, something like that. That is what the smart classification does. So let me actually click this. And then it will actually be spinning, and then the thinking, yes. So it will actually show, okay, with a 99% of probability, it actually show this option. So what we what you want to do is just confirm and then crack it, right? And then, oh, this is correct. I want to apply this condition. Okay. What about the assembly A? Oh, this is opening, but this is cotton wall. Yes, correct. Okay. What about the flat roof? Oh, this is actually a read this compound structure. Oh, this is membrane roofing and then concrete or metal deck roof. Yeah. So as you actually speculate here, if your model is almost like LOD 100, so that means it doesn't have the enough the compound structure, our AI platform cannot read it. But there is a small way. At the end, you can always override it manually. Okay, so apply selection, and then it actually automatically is the fill out almost everything. And then here is always, like I said, you can actually override it. Okay, so let's create your design sessions here. Oh, it actually matching diagram found your module selection. Okay, great. Let's go to the design guidance. So within a couple of seconds, it actually show the best standard, one of the best standard detail for this building condition. Like I said, it is one of. There are a lot of the means and method to implement this condition, but based on our consultants and then the peer review, we actually show one of the best standard detail to meet the high performance building envelope. No thermal bridge and then a tighter and then a water, air, vapor, the barrier. Okay. And then the left side is the interactive diagram as the solution. And then the right side is a design guidance. So as you see here, for one this specific building construction detail, there are many items you want to actually learn, you want to actually double and triple check to deliver high quality of the detail, right? And then this is one of our patent, and then each clickable component actually has the metadata and then the link to that design guides on the right side. So it automatically isolate, and then so let's see. So what is for instance, what is the table installation here? And then it's actually to explain all the nitty-gritty things you want to learn. And then this one is especially very helpful for the junior architect. So junior architect, they don't need to spend a couple of hours to find the right information in by the Googling. So let's go back. And then this one is also the two-way communication. For instance, okay, here I can actually check what is the continuous installation. If I click the card, it will actually isolate the component related to the continuous installation on this interactive diagram. Okay, isn't it awesome? So I think this is really awesome. Okay, and then the next step. So right now, you actually up to this point, you learn some kind of basic building science and the critical detailing the component here. What is the next step? You want to document it, right? And then we will give you the almost like 85% heads up. So you see this one is this little button. It's actually enable you to download this solution into the BIM or the CAD version. So let me download Revit 2023 here. Okay, and we don't want to actually impact your current working file. So what we do instead is create a temporary Revit project and then download this detail view. And then all this one is all 2D parametric 2D component. Is nothing is this line, nothing is the field division. And then, so I will actually create a copy and then go to this one and then paste here. And then, yeah, like this. So this is the starting point of your documentation. And then based on your design parameter, you can actually manipulate that. Once you download it, 100% is yours. Okay. And then if I go to the annotate keynote, like this, all the component that D.TO providing is actually has the CSI code embedded in here, is ready for the annotations. Okay. And then the other one is most powerful. That is actually the one of my favorite feature here is intuitive the search for 2D components. And for some reasons, you actually want to, for example, you want to the horizontal layout for the thermal spacer, right? So instead of going to actually the Revit 2D component here, and then everything is right now is a text, is no kind of the visual, the hint. If you go to our interactive diagram and then go to the beam library and then here again, we'll actually isolate all the relevant, very specifically the detail component for your selection. So here, instead of the vertical one, I want to download horizontal one. It's like that. It's really easy, right? Intuitive and very easy. And then, like it said here, this is also the type parameter. It actually reflecting all the industry standard dimensions here. If you want, you can actually go to the 4 inches, 6 inches, and then whatever. Yeah, isn't it awesome? Okay, great. And so what else? What else do I actually have? Okay, so there is some kind of the product tab here, but that's because of the limited some kind of the time constraint here today. So if you want to see more about how it is actually integrated with the product navigation feature, please grab the one of our team, especially the Taylor. Taylor can actually walk it through here. Okay, so did I miss anything, Taylor and Juhan?
Oh, maybe similar match.
Oh, similar
Maybe
match.
that could be also separate session
Okay.
then.
Gotcha. Okay, maybe the similar match. Okay, let me actually create another design sessions here. Okay, so let me create the design session again. Okay, link the Revit view. Okay, right. That you are correct. You are smart. So I need to go to the pull-out view here. This is a detail view. Okay. Okay, and then next step is let's start again. Let's use the smart classification. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's good. Light conditions. Yep. Green screen in the middle of framing. Okay. It looks okay. Looks good. Okay. Simply see. Floor is 11 grade. Yes, correct. And then create your design session. But this is what I actually do want to here. So matching diagram found. This is great. But what if I actually want to see the concrete, cast in place concrete structure here? So let's see, create design session. Oh, we detect we don't actually have the solution as of now, right? And then it doesn't stop there. We actually show similar match to what you are exactly looking for. So it actually show maybe a 6 here, 6 potential solution, even though they are not perfectly matching. This is to what you are looking for, because we believe that is still great starting point. You actually for your detailing. So if you click and then confirm, and then it actually has some kind of yellow bark around here, and then it still show the design guidance and in the beam library and in the product, something like that. So I think this is great. And then here, if you when you actually you don't find the right solution you are exactly looking for, don't be disappointed or don't be frustrated, because we actually show similar matches, and then we have the other channel that the Juhan will actually be presenting here. So I think that this is a great segue to the Juhan.
All right.
I want to jump in real quick there for the clarification. Every time that you're seeing one of those interactive diagrams within the D.TO platform, that is pulling from our detail catalog that D.TO has created with a mix of our 40 plus years of internal architectural experience, and then all of those details are peer reviewed by Studio NYL. So you get that out of the box kind of detail set and BIM components. I call it our Lego set, just because I like metaphors, I guess. And the big difference there with that similar solution is it's saying, oh, D.TO doesn't have a completed peer reviewed detail for this instance, but we want to make sure that you always have a way to kind of jumpstart your detailing process. So that's kind of the biggest clarification there. And as you see this next phase that Juhan's going to cover, you're going to see how even tied to that similar solution, or even when D.TO has a solution, the kind of proprietary areas where you can also host your own solutions through that same pipeline. So, bridge officially built. All yours, Juhan.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for having us today. I'm Juhan, CTO, co-founder. What I want to highlight with my part is how we want to maximize the value and the usage of your firm's, your team's internal knowledge and asset. So D.TO offers a smart asset delivery system along with all curated D.TO content. So based on the design problem you're working on, rollout view, for example, D.TO automatically curate, obviously what you saw, D.TO solutions and design guidance, being component, everything. But also you bring your own firm's internal asset right when and where your team needs them. So just a few clicks, your team will have access to all information necessary for the task at hand. But internal asset is not just about drawings, right? They can include your firm's QA, QC checklist, lesson learned, maybe some construction photos as a reference, and any other relevant information you may want to include for a certain detail. So that's why we also provide a space for you to curate and distribute your own design guidance, ensuring your firm's best knowledge is shared and reused in the most effective way possible. So I am going to go to my demo portion. And I'm going to move this Zoom UI to the next screen. Do you see my Revit and D.TO screen? I guess you are seeing. So what you're seeing is, again, Revit on the left, D.TO on the right. The screen I'm sharing right now with D.TO is company library feature. So I uploaded several here already, but we have some QA/QC pipeline inbuilt. So your team can submit a detail for review, or admin can upload and review. And once everything is great, you can publish. And finally, these published detail will be visible to all your team members. So here you can upload some reference detail, but also some typical detail, just boilerplate, symbols, legend, that sort of things. You can also upload 2D detail component / families. Once you upload, we automatically organize them by CSI numbers. I want to show a very quick demo of uploading. Uploading, you can upload single detail, but also you can do some batch processing. So if you click, we sort of look into your Revit file and fetch all available view. And you can utilize some parameters to manage upload process. Once you run this process, we recognize if these views are new or duplicated. So duplication found. So you can actually click, oh, actually that view is related to this detailed item you already uploaded. Then you can ignore or you can overwrite. And I'm just going to upload these two views. It reads this view from Revit and upload to the D.TO cloud server. One thing is you can upload drafting view for sure, but you can also directly upload detail views. We actually read your detail view. We recognize any 3D element in the detail view. Then we automatically convert those into the drafting view. So that's what we do. It will be very, very useful for, especially the case for the harvesting some detail from your active project. So once you upload, now you can easily create the relationship. You can set the rule how you want this particular detail to be distributed. So I'm going to assign this classification to that view that I uploaded. And then we can see this is, we are saying this view is related to the opening, foundation, and floor. So now I'm going to, let's say, publish this. So this view is actually now here. Oh, wait. I want to show one more thing. Sorry. In this view, the edit mode, the space here, the description panel is a rich text editor. Like I explained earlier, you can actually put your own design guidance or checklist, lesson learned right here. And this is rich text editor. You can format it. You can add some photo. And now that information is tied to this specific reference detail, now everyone wants or needs to use that particular detail will also get those curated internal design guidance. Now that's sort of like BIM manager or senior architect's perspective, right? Uploading, managing those logic, publishing. Now I want to be a junior architect that actually needs to work on certain detail. So I'm switching persona to end user or your team member. Now I need to, let's say I need to work on this wall section. I'm going to do the very same workflow. All right, smart call out. And my boss said that I need to work on this. So I go to that particular call out. Create the design session, link view, all the same process. Okay, I'm gonna pick that one. All right, all good. Create design session. Boom. As you already know, in several seconds, I get D.TO solution right away. But now, because I just curated some detail in company library, I also get the detail that my team uploaded. So I can download this, or I can actually download this from my internal asset library. Again, it creates a temporary project and put this detail into a drafting view so that I can copy and paste. Also, Vim library, if you upload Vim component to the company library, I also get all related 2D component to this particular design problem based on the CSI grouping. We recognize, require the CSI division, and we sort of figure out which Vim component you will need to complete this detail. And this is also interactive. So if I click this frame element here, I only get frame related component, and then I click and place. So there are 4 sections, right? By your team, design specific. By D.TO, design specific. And we also provide all others components. So D.TO has almost 1,000 to detail component. You can actually access others, all sort of D.TO component, also your component. All right, did I miss anything? Youngjin, Taylor?
No, I think this is good. And so we can actually, since we have maybe 3 minutes left.
Youngjin, before I do want to mention the contributor role.
Oh, yeah.
One, just, and you don't have to pull up the platform for it, but a unique way and kind of a unique approach that we have versus even, let's just say like Autodesk and their content catalog, is we believe that your company detail library should very much be a living, breathing part of your practice, just like all the lessons learned that you pull out of every single project that you work. And so we created this contributor role as another pipeline to kind of keep that library up to date. And so what it is for your average user who doesn't have any content manager permissions, and it's not their job to maintain the library. So likely not a BIM manager, likely not a project architect, but could be a senior or junior architect who notices, oh, there wasn't a detail in the library to jumpstart from here. I went ahead and completed it. I want to raise my hand and contribute that to the rest of the firm. And so they don't have to be super technologically proficient to have D.TO go ahead and capture that. And it comes to this in review state. So you can get newer details, and it really democratizes that asset collection over time. Another really cool part of that feature is if you're going through a QA/QC process, or you have a senior architect who notices, oh, hey, there was a code change, we need to update this detail. They can make those changes while they're in their project, and then they can just basically raise their hand in that same form and fashion and say, hey, BIM manager, hey, project architect, whoever is responsible in your firm, you might want to double check this. So that's really meant to keep everything up to date. And as you're learning more and more lessons, the rest of the firm gets to benefit from that, versus we noticed most workflows, it's like, oh, I missed that. That's not there, but there's a deadline that happens. So you completely forget that you meant to share that with someone, and you move on, or you mean to cover it in our QA/QC meeting, but it just kind of falls by the wayside. But that's one of the other pieces that kind of ties to our name, Design Together. So it's one of my favorite features. So I always like to share that out. But yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So we have done quite a few like pilot testing with customers. Actually, we try to measure the actual ROI using D.TO. One of our clients reported it was almost like 80% cut for the detailing process. And there are also other kind of hard to measure ROI. A junior architect now come with a better question. So this is just we want to highlight that it really worked for actual real practice. And we get this as a CTO. I get this question a lot. So you're using some AI, and we have very serious concern about our data privacy. So our answer is actually we recognized that issue very early on, and we came up with two very unique solutions to provide data privacy to your firm's data. First approach is we don't actually train our model at all with your data. We came up with good old Grasshopper Dynamo algorithm that actually mimics users or human designers modeling behavior. So we actually create some artificial drawing data so that we can train our model upon artificial data, not the real data. So that's our first approach. The second approach is we are trying to just avoid any usage of the supervised learning model, which requires data to train. We are actually integrating our AI layer to powerful like reasoning engine that multi-billion-dollar company are developing. So it just doesn't have any training aspects. We read your data and then we have our own translation layer so that this large language model can understand rapid drawing and then back and forth. So that's how we approach to, this is our approach to safeguard your data. And a little bit of roadmap, we have 4 different phases we want to achieve. I think we are at like 2.5 right now. So phase 1, global building scale. You already saw the smart cutout. We want to understand your building scale drawing and identify the area that you need to design. The second phase, also you saw already, the local call-out scale, we want to understand what you are working on, what is your design problem, so that we can curate our solution, your solution in a proper way. So phase 3 is we want to sort of expand this detailed way of thinking to SD or DD phase 2, when you're visually exploring some building visual aesthetic, we want to bring product data and then also some assembly information, wall assembly, roof assembly, floor assembly, so that your early design decision will be carried over to the detailing process. So you explore product visually, and here there are going to be some image-related AI model, update the visual right away, but not just image, but also we're going to bring the product specification information, wall assembly information, so that all the information will be used when you're actually working on the detail. Last phase is more like Copilot. Everyone want to do the Copilot this day. But our Copilot approach is 100% drawing based. So no text prompt. We want to become a sort of your design colleague or senior mentor. So we work alongside you step by step and try to recognize any error and try to give you the right direction. Hey, look, for example, hey, I think you are missing this membrane overlap here. This is some guideline. This is the beam component you want to use. Hey, check this out. Your firm wants to make sure you actually check this 4 point. So that's sort of something we are working on, our North Star goal. But yeah, this is our roadmap.
Okay, Juhan,
Yep.
can we actually move to the Q&A?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think this is the right slide. Okay, so we have many questions.
Yeah, so we have, I'll go and take over from here. Thank you, Youngjin and Juhan. And before I ask kind of or I'll repeat some of the questions that were in chat, just so everyone who maybe didn't see it gets the answer. But as a summary, D.TO's AI works basically like a smart librarian that's meant to assist you in design of, hey, I've showed up and this is the condition. Please provide me the appropriate tools at the appropriate time to get this detail done more efficiently and faster. So like what James said at the beginning, your time can best be spent on true design thinking, the real passions and the real creativity in the pieces that we can kind of assume most of you became architects for in the first place. So that's kind of in a nutshell what D.TO ultimately hopes to do. And then as we can further meet the brand promise of design together, bringing all those stakeholders together to ultimately push forward a more efficient construction lifecycle, better design thinking, and more sustainable design. So I'll jump in. It looked like we had a question from, and I apologize if I don't have any of the names perfect, but I will try my best. Rome had asked about ArchiCAD, and to kind of share that with everyone, you can use the web-based platform for ArchiCAD and AutoCAD because you can upload varying file formats to it. In the future, we do plan to develop plugins for those as well, so that way you can actually lean on the AI's power. Ernesto asked about, does the architect still own the copyright to the work, or does this change by using the software? So our detailed library that you saw there sitting right around 1,500 completed peer-reviewed details is accessible to all of our paid audience. And once you actually import that into your Revit, comes as temporary drafting view, any changes that you make to that, that is now yours. We don't hold any licensing rights or hold anything back. And then anything that you upload to the platform via the company asset management system, even as D.TO admins, we don't even have any actual way of accessing or seeing that information. So what is yours stays yours throughout the entire process. Even when you download from our library and make changes, that then becomes yours. Mike asked, what about small scale typologies like type 5 construction, multifamily residential, or single family residential? So though we specialize primarily in the high performance building envelope, as we're gaining more and more customers across these different pieces, we'll be backfilling content directly for those varying sectors. But because we already have customers actually using us for each one of those specific typologies as well as others, we went ahead and opened up the backbone and kind of the skeletal structure of the system. So that way you can use the platform for your own content before we even fill it with there. So lots and lots of flexibility, especially when it comes to anything architecture related, and keep your eyes posted for your friends that are in engineering disciplines, because that is also something that we are working to develop. And then let's see, we had next question. Do you need to name modeling components from Ernesto in a specific way for the software to recognize? So as long as you're following industry standard practices, very easy to upload to the platform. And we recommend, because we break everything up by master CSI division, for our customers, we do provide a folder structure to help you organize some of those things if you want to basically get the maximum deployment capabilities. So we're very hands-on with anyone that we work with to really try to help to map the software to your workflow versus just expecting you to become a super user day one. And then looks like AI notes. So that was all of the, or that were whatever words are appropriate there, all of the questions in the chat. We do have a few minutes, so if anyone would like to just raise their hand or just start speaking.
Yeah, Taylor, I'm just gonna preempt that because I've got a burning question. Obviously, the power of these AI tools is tremendous, but the connectivity between the Revit or AutoCAD on my side and the library, it maybe is there's a lot to it, and I'm trying to understand what sort of training or handholding or steps D.TO actually offers to users. You know, they want to sign up, they want to use this power, but I mean, you know, if they've been running their own sort of internal system, how hard is it, and what do you guys provide to help them integrate?
So it's very streamlined. So we have a dedicated like proof of concept period where we work kind of hand in glove, like software as a service style, to help to map the workflow to your current workflow. And so we go through that period of time, train level of users all the way from we'll sit there and make sure the plugin is loaded correctly to sometimes we dive super deep into those calls and we end up learning about new architectural practices that help us to go back and update, some changes into the way we want our AI to work based on ideas that we gain from those calls. So we're very hands-on, as well as for people who don't necessarily like to be trained or kind of be guided and they work at their own pace. We actually have a dedicated YouTube series that's currently available to everyone, that breaks it up feature by feature with exact platform demonstrations of you click this button, you get this result. And as well as when you download the plugin into Revit, there's also a built-in user manual that populates within Revit. So depending on how you learn, you have access to all of the varying pieces, visual, audio, or tactile with working directly with our team.
Great.
But it's generally quite easy to use. They are not like super complex UI, UX. Once you get used to the concept, it's been pretty easy with our current customers.
So Taylor, I have another question for you. Do you wanna actually the two questions first, and then June actually walk us through the company asset management. How does D.TO actually stand out from the other existing company library management platform? That is his first question. The second question is many people is thinking that, oh, D.TO is focusing 100% on the 2D detail, but that was true 10 days ago, right? But now it is not true because we actually expand to the 3D assembly manager. Do you want to actually chime in more?
Yes, I can. So to answer the first question, I was just typing up on chat about the 3D assembly manager. But on the first question, ultimately our biggest differentiator between other asset management systems out there is that we were actually created with deployment in mind and the actual end user of the architect. How are they going to design better? How are they going to save time? How are they going to be able to gain that necessary knowledge? And the asset management feature was built in with that in mind based on our customer requests. So everything was developed with actual customers' usage and workflows in mind. And that AI agent is meant to support your end architect where the bulk of the time is being spent. We're all for having a beautiful library, and especially one day when I have my fancy office, I'll want that. But I think it's just as important to actually be able to pull those books off the shelf, open them up, and engage with them, just as it is with those details and all that knowledge that we're storing. Who's going to read them? How are they going to read them? How are they going to get access to that pertinent information? And that's really where I believe we stand out in comparison to the other pieces out there on the marketplace. And then as far as 2D versus 3D, yes, we have all the 2D BIM detail items deliverable via CSI division, those interactive diagrams. But I guess as a little sneak peek, our 3D assembly manager starts to go live this coming week, which Juan can confirm that, to where at least the prototype that he showed me last week before AU, you can actually start to draw right into Revit using the D.TO platform. And for me, for some of our customers, I think that's going to make our BIM managers' job so much easier because of the data consistency and just the streamlining of the process. So I like that we get questions that they're almost reading our minds.
I want to address one more thing about the CAD. So AutoCAD, we don't have add-in yet, but we do offer a DWG file solution. So when you create design session here down below, you can click the button and import our solution as Revit drafting view. But we also have DWG version. So you can actually get D.TO solution as a DWG. And this detail library, although it is mainly built for Revit, but you can also upload like DWG file. So there is still a few ways to utilize D.TO with web browser for CAD.
DWG and PDF and the other.
Yeah, so when you upload, you start from Revit View. But you can attach like DWG, PDF, with some images. But we are hearing a lot of like AutoCAD requests as well. So it's in our the backlog pipeline. We will address them as soon as possible. And yeah, next week we're probably going to release that new feature Taylor and Youngjin just mentioned. It's about assembly management, 3D assembly management, like such as Revit wall type, floor type, roof type, all those things you can upload and manage and use and create the relationship between typical detail and wall assembly and design session and also audit. There will be very, very amazing feature.
Yep. Taylor, I have the last question for you. What am I supposed to do if I want to know more about the other feature is actually not demonstrated here, and including the 3D Assembly Team Manager? What am I supposed to do?
So it's funny that you asked that, Youngjin. It's almost like I've worked with you before. So I just posted my email in the,
Okay.
in the chat for people
Back to QR code.
who missed the QR code. And then people can also go to our website, DTOAEC.com. And then as well as we typically will post small GIFs and little videos on our LinkedIn profile of new updates. But really the best way is just to open up a conversation with us and the team. We'd love to kind of chat specifically, obviously, about the platform. But we really also like to know what people are working on, so then that way we can stay up to date with our basically the direction we're taking the company and the product. So we very much view it as a relationship or series of relationships and very much a two-way street. So we really hope to hear from some of y'all, and thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
For having us.